Hey everyone, welcome back to Citywide Blackout, your home for music, movies, and more. I'm your host, Max Bowen. In this episode, I'm chatting with singer-songwriter and violinist Stephanie Mathias to talk about her recently released single and music video for It's My Thing. Both are phenomenal. You gotta check them out. The video has a pretty cool story involving the production process and some last-minute changes that had to be made. We also talk about Stephanie's very musical family and the different paths that her career has taken her on. Joining me right now is Stephanie Mathias, singer-songwriter, violinist, so many things, holy God, and she's got so much to talk about. Stephanie, thank you for joining me. It is awesome to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited. It's really nice to meet you.
Likewise. And you and I actually have a bit of common ground. I am formerly a Boston boy, and your siblings have actually gone to school there. So
exactly.
Now, have you ever actually been to Boston, gone there for shows, or just kind of wander around?
No. Okay. Interesting story. I've never been to Boston, and I also have a really good friend who lives there. But I have a connection to Boston not only through my siblings, but this music store where I bought all of my violins since I was in 8th grade are from Johnson String Instruments, Carriage House Violins, which is in Boston. They have and they've shipped their instruments to me, and I love them, and like I said, I've used them for a zillion years, and so I really want to go and see the store. And that's kind of on my bucket list. It's so sad that I have to put it on a bucket list to, take a 6-hour trip. But
right, you're kind of busy.
Well, especially now, I can't even go if I wanted to.
It's a perfect time. Too,
now
right?
Everything's shut down. That's definitely not happening this summer. Bummer.
Oh my God, I know. Now, how is this impacted you? Did you have to cancel a lot of shows or a tour?
Yeah, I had. Okay, so 2 things. I am a singer-songwriter, and I also run my own violin performance company. I'm a soloist, and I'll go perform violin covers for weddings and things like that. And that is a new business, and it was taken off, and all of a sudden it's everything's canceling. Definitely threw me for a loop there. So yeah, that's been a real challenge. And then also, as a singer-songwriter, I was just starting to come back into, because I've been so focused on the violin side of it, and I decided that I wanted to come and start releasing music again and doing more live shows right before quarantine. I had a big release show planned. Well, we ended up doing it online, 2 other musicians and me, and it was really good and really fun. But definitely, my whole world is turned upside down.
I'm definitely looking forward to when we can start going back to shows again. I know it's going to be a little while out, obviously. Take some time to figure out how we're going to do it. But I definitely look forward to those days because I miss going to shows so badly. I love going to shows, and I actually I think the last one I had gone to was right before all this happened. It was it was a combo wrestling match and show, and it was
that sounds fun.
It was a totally awesome thing. It was an amazing thing. It was my friend's band playing at a wrestling match or a wrestling event, and they were actually even playing the intro music for all the wrestlers. It was such a cool time.
That's so fun.
Yeah, and then I think it was
I'm totally into that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, actually, the funny thing is, wrestling music in general is becoming a lot more produced these days, whereas a lot more goes into it. So you never know.
Interesting.
In fact, it's actually one of the major stars. Shinsuke Nakamura actually has his intro music is violin led. So you never know.
Yes.
Yeah. Woo for the violins.
I'm game. If anyone wants to hire me for a wrestling match, that sounds like a good time.
Nice. I like that. All right. So let's talk about some happier things. You just released the new single, It's My Thing, along with the music video. Now, this, unless I'm mistaken, this is your first music video, right?
Yes, it's my very first music video. Really excited. Really excited about it.
Such a cool production, too. I watched a bunch of
times.
Thank you. This is
yay!
Yeah, it was an amazing video. It actually threw me for a bit of a loop though because I thought the background was Boston, because the bridge in the background and the building. Oh, it's cool. She's from Boston. Nice. We have that connection. And then I actually read your bio and said, "Oh, you're from Virginia." Never mind.
Nope, Georgetown.
That's right.
That was a Key Bridge in Arlington.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, but that's cool that it's like, hey, you know.
Yeah. No,
Somehow they're connected because they look alike. That's interesting.
There you go.
I love it.
Yeah. Now, did you plan like the whole video out? Did you have like the whole thing like in your head for how you wanted it to look?
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is a really interesting story.
Yes, tell me.
Okay, so my producer, who also recorded the track, is Flightboy Music in Baltimore. And we had a really good connection, really love him. And does amazing work. And he's like, anyway, all these good things. But he had a camera misfunction during our first shoot. So we had to reshoot the whole video and on the Key Bridge. And so, no, this is nothing like what I had in mind. Because the thing is, like, right on the day of the video shoot was like every single day leading up to the video shoot was like everything was intensifying with this coronavirus stuff. I mean, I finished recording the track, I don't know, a couple weeks before it came out. And so we shot the video, like, I don't know, I want to say the first video we shot like a week before the stay-at-home order came out. And so we were already trying to social distance and stuff. So I was going to have me like fighting. I was, like combinations and takedowns and all that stuff. It was going to be really cool. But we had to stay 6 feet apart. But then when we had to and then I had this other location as well. When we had to reshoot, not only were there, less people, but we did it in the park instead of in the dojo because the dojo was closed down, which the park was actually really cool. Some things about it were really awesome that we did it that way. And the bridge was like my second choice for location. So, I mean, I wasn't complaining, but it was just like, everything's different than planned. And, we couldn't fight each other and stuff. So, but luckily, like the kind of martial arts that I do has artistic forms where you could do that by yourself. Mm-hmm. So Anyway, so there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
But that's the thing. The song is all about being determined. So
you carry on, you make it happen. And how long have you practiced martial arts?
So 4.5 years.
Oh, cool.
So I'm fairly new to it, actually. Yeah.
What's your style?
Kempo.
Oh, very cool.
So it's like a mix of karate and kung fu. What
got you into doing that?
Great question. I up until very recently, I've been a nanny, and that's been paying my bills. I grew up in a family of a lot of kids, did a lot of babysitting, so nannying was great. And now I'm a mom, right? So I love nannying because I just bring my daughter to work, and all of that's really good. So I was nannying a kid who did Kempo, and I took her to a dojo multiple times a week, and everyone there was just so nice, and I just would watch when I could, when I wasn't chasing after my baby. But I was like transfixed, like, oh man, I wish I had this as a kid. You learn all the discipline, you learn how to overcome fear, you learn, safety, you learn skills. I'm like, man, this is so cool. And all of a sudden, like, Sensei invites me to join, and I'm like, oh, I don't even play sports or anything. Like, I'm a music geek. Like, I don't know. But I'm like, no, there's only one way to find out if something's for you, right? You got to do it. And it's been extremely therapeutic for me. It turns out that punching and kicking things and focusing on all of the aspects, whether it be the physical or the mental training, is very healthy and good, and it's a great community as well. So I'm extremely loyal to my Kempo family because they're just awesome. So that's why I wanted them to be in the first video. And if it were up to me, I would have had the whole dojo of everyone there. But like I said, everything was different. So I'm just so glad that I could do Kempo and have my friends backing me up, and my sensei who was coaching me through the choreography and all of that great stuff. So yeah, it's very special. Now,
do you have another music video in mind that you want to do?
I have another music video coming up on Sunday, Mother's Day. And this one is completely planned as planned because I knew that quarantine was going to happen because it was already happening. I had a quarantine concert with my good friend Emma, and another good friend was we also did the release show together. Emma, Salia, and I were all musicians. And Salia said, hey, this song that you were performing should be your next single for Mother's Day. I'm like, I've already released it 3 years ago. But then we were like, music video. So I thought music video on Mother's Day, which was all her idea. And I invited a bunch of fans to send in music videos like of themselves dancing to the song and with their kids. Okay, let me backtrack. The song is a Mother's Day song. So it's about, I wrote it for my daughter when she was a baby, and the song is called Sweet Baby. And it's a really happy song, and it's just about the love that I have for my daughter and all the adventures that she takes me on. She's a very active kid, and so she like keeps me on my toes, but I wouldn't have it any other way, sort of thing. Invited my fans to join in, and then also compiled, I actually spent a few hours compiling videos, baby videos with me and her, and like with the song playing and stuff. And Solia, who came up with the idea, I hired her to be my video editor. That's a lot of work, so I'm outsourcing. But it's going to be a totally quarantine-friendly video. I'm really excited. I hope that a lot of people get to see it and get to because right now, I don't know if you have kids. Do you have kids?
Nope.
Okay, so if you have kids, there are some days during this quarantine that you will think that you've lost your mind. I mean, with anyone, grown-ups or kids, right? Because I've had roommates as well. Doesn't matter who you're living with, but when you're with them every single day, and especially when they depend on you the way that kids do, it's very demanding and stressful sometimes. I'm just hoping that, and it's been good for me too, because it's reminded me of the sweet moments and the advantages of being with our kids and the special, things that we can do together. So, music has been one of the things that my daughter Natalie and I have used to, have fun together, because we both love music. We both love performing. We were even doing like a little live stream shows together and stuff. So yeah, it's really cute. But that's the thing. It's like, that's what we bond over. I loved seeing the videos that people sent in, and they were doing that. They were laughing and dancing and having a good time with their kids, and the kids are having fun and smiling. And I'm like, see, even if I created that one moment for them, I actually cried when I saw the first one, because I was just so touched. I'm like, my song meant something, brought that sweet moment into being, it was, so it was really good.
I would love to see a mother-daughter album come out of this.
Oh, that would be so cool. I've been thinking of this for a long time. I'm just waiting till she's slightly older, but she's extremely good, like really talented. She could handle it, but taking some of my old songs that I wrote when I was a kid and having her sing them. Yeah. So stay tuned. Watch this space. Yeah. Eventually that will happen.
Yeah.
She just has a real knack for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the other day, I don't know if you know Frozen, but she learned she learned the new song from Frozen 2, which is like, I mean, I know that a lot of little kids sing Let It Go and all these Frozen songs and stuff. Natalie's musical ability just blows my mind sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like the way that she can hit those intervals, and it's just like, I don't know, she doesn't even have to think about it. It's great.
Now, how did she come to be a singer? Was it something she just sort of learned by watching you, or did she sort of come into it kind of on her own?
I think it is definitely me. So, but I mean, because even from when she was born, I was singing constantly to her, writing songs, playing the piano with her on my lap and stuff. I mean, I definitely take credit for it. I think that she has a lot of natural talent too, so it's just kind of cool that it's not a coincidence that we're together.
How old were you when you first got started with music?
I was 3. So my mom was also a musician. So this is really a generational thing. And her grandmother was a musician. Yeah, it's a real, it's really in our blood. But she said it was sort of the same thing. She sings all the time, and she played piano. She's an amazing classical pianist. And she just sort of, I would sing along, like she would teach me all these things. And then all of a sudden, like she heard me sounding out a kid's song on the piano, just completely on my own. I was 3 years old, and she's like, all right, time for a piano lesson. It's like, it's like, okay, I guess this is happening, That's my story, because I grew up sort of like a little child prodigy. It is what it is. Like, I guess I can brag about it, but it doesn't make me more special than anyone. But that's just how I grew up, learning music and having a knack for it, and realizing like that's just who I am. Like, that's me.
Mm-hmm. So the piano came first. When did singing and the violin come into play?
Singing is the same as piano. I mean, really, like, because I don't remember like before when I started singing, right? And that's been going on for a long time. And then the violin, I started at age 10. The singer-songwriter thing, I don't know. I always loved performing, but it was harder for me to be confident in going forward in my music, like taking the risk to, invest in that. And the violin had just laid itself out for me. And so that ended up being my journey, but I don't regret it. I'm really glad that's how it went. So I play the viola, which is a less common instrument. So I had more opportunities, got more, scholarships, so, and jobs after I graduated. And I'm really glad that I was able to continue music that way through college and afterwards. And it's also led me to meet my husband. So it's really an interesting, like I said, I don't regret that. It's just two sides of me, and that's what I'm learning to embrace. Like when I wrote It's My Thing, I was sort of thinking that because I had just done an audition, a classical audition, and it left me pretty messed up. I hurt my shoulder, like spazzed out a muscle, and like it was a really ambitious audition. And I realized that like, oh my gosh, I'm willing to take all of these risks, and I quit my nanny job, and because I just like it's time for me to focus more on my music, time for me to be home a bit more, because a lot of the music I can do from home. So I'm like, man, I'm willing to do all of that for music. So when I didn't make the audition, I wasn't even like discouraged, because I knew it was really ambitious. And I realized that I found something else that I wanted to do, which is opening my own electric violin performing company. But I'm like, okay, I want to keep writing. Like, which is it? Like, I can't do everything. And this is like, I can't be good, super good at everything. And it's like, well, just do you. And so that's why I wrote It's My Thing. Okay. So that's why I added so much of different aspects of myself in the video. The karate, which was a risk that I took, and the electric violin, and which was a new endeavor at the time when I wrote the song, and singing and songwriting and the piano, like the keys are me too. So I'm just gonna do myself, be me, and not worry about what other people think. And it's been a really successful attitude. It's a lot of good things have come from reminding myself of that. So, but anyway, so that's, and then the thing about songwriting too is throughout my whole life, songwriting has been a way for me to give myself those kind of messages. So I usually write every song about some sort of struggle that I'm going through, or that someone close to me is, and trying to, work through it in an emotional way. So it's like, no matter what, the music is going to have to be a part of me. So that's my music life story.
Nice.
There's a lot more, I guess, but
it's a great story.
Really.
I absolutely love it, especially all the different directions it's taken you. Since we talked about the failing music, your daughter, your mom, your grandmother, does your husband do music?
Okay. Speaking of great stories, my husband and I, so this studying the viola performance led me to a study abroad in Mexico, because I also really love Spanish. I didn't speak it growing up, but I'm Peruvian, a quarter Peruvian, and so I've always wanted to learn it. So I studied it in school. And so I had this opportunity I was recommended to go to Mexico, where there was another viola teacher who was a friend of my viola professor. So really, that's why I say that the viola brought me to Mexico. And so I actually met my husband in a church choir when I was there. So, yes. So, and, and he's not like a trained musician. He's very, very much self-taught, and, because his parents like couldn't really afford that kind of thing. And I mean, he went to a nice high school and all of that, but he just didn't have any of the classical training that I had. But he has such a passion for music. On our first date, he played the guitar for me, and like when he proposed to me, he wrote me a song. And like, so he is very much a musician, but it's just different because I'm like, I'm the authority, right? Or whatever. But really, he's very talented. And I mean, I guess I'm biased, but I really think that he's very talented. In fact, we even were in a band together for a little while, like a Mexican cover band. And that was a lot of fun. So yeah, so music is definitely in our family. So, and it's funny because he'll be the one like, I don't want to practice as much because that's work, right? But he'll just like sit and play the guitar for hours, right? Like, just because that's, it's just funny how that works, right?
I absolutely love like the old school romantic approach there. It is so, oh my God.
Yeah, like rooftop proposal with a song, written for me, and like a little treasure box with different little symbolic trinkets in them, and the ring. Oh my gosh, he's great.
The professor of romance. Holy God.
So, coming up on 10 years next month.
Oh, congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. So yeah, I mean, music is definitely a part of our family, and I guess it's no surprise that Natalie is so much into it as well.
Yeah, definitely. I want to ask about your viola because it is featured in a music video for It's My Thing. And I saw that, I thought, holy, that is such a beautiful instrument.
Okay, yes. So that's actually not my viola.
Arg.
So
I think it was going to be one or the other.
Yeah, well, this is the electric violin.
Oh, okay.
So, which people can't see because
theater of the mind.
Audio, but you can see it, and they can see it on my music video. So there you go, a little plug there. So yeah, the viola is actually a bigger instrument. You still hold it and play it the same way as the violin, but it's an acoustic instrument, and it's more of a harmony type, like alto sort of instrument. It's very mellow and beautiful, and so I still play it a lot for weddings and things like that.
Okay,
it's got a really rich sound to it.
Okay, so then the electric violin, I gotta know all about
the
this
electric
thing.
violin.
Yeah, because I just saw
so,
that.
Yeah, so the electric violin. This has been really a really cool thing that grabs people's attention, and so one thing that I've been trying to tell everyone. If you want to start a business or do something, you have to take the thing that you thought was maybe a little crazy and just own it. Just do it, because I had been wanting to learn the electric violin for a long time before I actually did. In fact, I bought one in Mexico. Ricky bought one for me, and but I didn't like it. It was maybe it was cheap or something. It was so uncomfortable, and I didn't like it. So, but I always had that in mind, but I didn't give it as much of a pursuit as I should have. Because when I bought this one, and I bought this from the company in Boston that I was telling you about, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to partner with them. So, this is actually not a very expensive instrument, but I was able to make it comfortable, by getting equipment that's comfortable for me and to hold it. And it plays just like a regular violin. So the main thing that you got to learn with an electric instrument is the technology of sound equipment. I mean, really, it's been so cool because, and it was actually a former boss of mine. He would hire me to perform in string quartets, and he actually gave me that idea to perform on the electric violin and inspired me to start my own company. And he was like, "Yeah, can you play with backing tracks?" And I'm like, I don't know. So I actually, it turned out to be the easiest thing in the world. Like, you find backing tracks on Apple Music, and then you just plug your violin and those tracks into a speaker and play. I mean, you just have to learn the songs. I learned them by ear. And then these are songs that I listen to on the radio, so I already know them. I had been doing that for a couple months when I wrote It's My Thing and like decided, hey, I'm going to use this thing for one of my original songs. So yeah, I mean, it's been really a lot of fun.
Excellent.
And just really enjoy it.
Nice. I'm a big fan of the electric violin as an instrument. I'm a huge Lindsey Stirling fan. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I love her too.
Oh
She's
my
incredible.
God. Absolutely love her. Love her work. It's phenomenal stuff.
And she's made people like me have an easier job of getting work because people are like, oh my gosh, like Lindsey Stirling, and someone here.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
great.
Yeah. It really just takes that one person to show everyone else what something can do. Like I can remember a time when like bands would never have something like a cello player or a viola player, and now everyone's got one. Nordic Daughter, a Viking rock band.
I need to check that out.
Yeah. Mia Asano plays violin, and she's in the band. She plays with them, and one of the first things I noticed when I heard their music was the violin. I thought, holy damn, this is really good. This is really cool because it adds such another level. Just the different layers that it adds to the music. It just transforms into something completely different, my opinion.
No, I agree. And like that's the cool thing about when I perform these covers on the violin is because it's kind of both, because it does have sort of a classical sound to it, especially when I find backing tracks that are piano versions. It's like, oh, it's this very sophisticated version of Diamonds by Rihanna. It's one of my favorites. And it's very classically, but it also like has kind of like an ethereal sort of quality. Like the violin, I don't know, it just takes the song to a different space.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I want to go back a bit to It's My Thing. Now, we've talked a lot about the subject of the song, which is basically being true to yourself, going for your goals. But I know that there's a lot of stumbles along the way, obstacles, things happen.
Yes.
I'm curious, did you ever have a moment in your life where you were like, just ready to just, chuck the violin into the trash and say, forget about it, I'm done, I'm doing something else?
Oh, man, which one?
Okay, you know what? Realistic answer, actually, because we never have the one thing. We always have the several things. It's about just getting over those two. I would say how about a recent one?
It's just because I was just talking to someone about this and making this realization that my musical journey, like I said, has so many parts to it, where the journey of the songwriter and the journey of the violinist. And so, I feel like sort of my go-to action has always been, well, when one thing's not going well, I'll just work on the other and kind of climbing up a ladder that way. But realize, and I kind of felt, that's the thing is like I was overcoming a lot of stupid shame, that like I'm not as advanced in violin as such and such person, or not as advanced in my singer-songwriter career as another. And like, okay, but I never gave up on music, and at least I can tell myself that, I never stopped being a musician, even when I was nannying, and even when I'm, being a mom, it's all just part of what makes me a human. And that makes me a better musician, because musicians are humans. And but really, and at the end of the day, I never gave up on music. But yeah, there were lots of times where I just like, okay, I just kept the violin in a case, and I'm like, I'm too busy for this right now, and even with the It's My Thing, it was this audition, right? Like this audition that I had, that was just, I actually had like a nervous breakdown when all this was going on, or shortly before writing the song, a couple months before. I don't know what your definition of nervous breakdown was, but I think it was one, because I have anxiety. So, there's times where I've got it super under control, and times where it's not. So, and that was a time where so much was going on. I had taken the risk of quitting my job. I had been practicing hours and hours a day in this audition that was just way too ambitious, and I, taking these risks. And I was also taking this journey of self-discovery, which was a part of me, evolving. But I was also having trouble at work because I wasn't sleeping at night. And and so I was getting in trouble and things like that, or just it was a real wild ride, but it did help me because, like I said, I really took a lot of 2019 to focus on, I don't know, like healing myself. And I even got professional help too, and because I had been going to therapy and stuff. I'm always very real about the fact that I have gotten help with anxiety because it was something that, that I want to promote in the world. So yeah, I mean, it's a really good question. Like, when writing It's My Thing, yeah, it was like a few months after that sort of complete, where I couldn't sleep at night and I was crying at work and I was trying to figure out like what I was going to do with my life, because I hadn't, formed the business yet. And I mean, it was really just an anxious low point. so that's why, like, when I came to the realization that I found something that I loved to do and that I was rediscovering myself when I was healing and using all of these awesome resources to feel better, then yeah, like, that's why just this song was like, and then all the whatever voices that were in my head that were saying like, you're not good enough or whatever, it wasn't even towards a specific person that was trying to cut me down. It was just the idea that there would be those people. And so I had to say, like, yeah, I've gotten up from harder things, and I really had. That's what the song literally says. And so it's like, hey, I'm just going to own this now. There's lots of times.
Yeah, and I think we all need that message too, because
yes.
we've all been at those low points where we just don't see a way out, where we think this is it, this is the rest of my life, this is, me failing. I've done that before. Back in actually 2018, I quit my job, put everything into a storage locker, and moved down to Philly because I love the city, I love Philly. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to do this. And I crashed with a couple friends. 4 months later, couldn't get a job to save my life. And I left. I came back to Massachusetts.
That's just life for you.
And it was hard.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and it was hard to not think of myself as a complete and abject failure. But the thing that I took from that is, you know what, dude? You had to reset yourself because I had gone through a ton of loss. My job was just a dead end for me. I had to just take that hard stop and restart. So the point I'm going to eventually get to is that you can look at the low points of your life as just that. You can look at them as points where you learned something and clawed your way back up. And that's kind of the two choices you have. You're allowed to break down. I've done it plenty of times, more times than I can count. You're allowed to fall apart. You're allowed to be crying into your pillow. You're allowed to be punching the wall. Well, don't do that. You're allowed to be screaming at the wall. You're allowed
a punching bag.
Yeah, don't punch the wall because then you got to fix it. Trust me, I know. Yeah. You're allowed to fall apart, but that's not going to solve your problem. The work is what solves a problem. So have your fall apart, have your breakdown, then get up and get back to it.
Yep.
Because you matter and you need to be here and you don't want to stop.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, like that experience is accurate, right? And I think some of the lowest points of my life, especially like in music, are points that I'm incredibly grateful for looking back. I mean, gosh, if I hadn't failed that voice, I always tell my friends, if I hadn't failed that voice audition and gotten in as a vocalist in college, then I wouldn't have met my husband because I wouldn't have done the viola. If I hadn't failed this audition, I wouldn't have realized that I love music so much that it's worth quitting my job for. If I hadn't and I also quit my job with the idea of being a teacher, and I totally failed at that too. So, I mean, I really feel you. I realized that I hated teaching and being a teacher. I like teaching, but not didn't want to do that as a career. But if I hadn't done that, then I wouldn't have made peace with that idea, because everyone's like, oh, you should be a teacher. I'm like, nope, actually, I know for a fact that I shouldn't. And also just it wouldn't have led me to starting my own company. So many things. And I'm so glad that I failed that audition too, because imagine I would have been having that orchestra job, and I probably wouldn't have liked it as much as I like what I do now. And hopefully it's the same as going on for you. Hopefully you're happy where you are.
Oh yeah, because shortly after I came back, a lot of things came of it.
Yeah.
When I left, I transitioned my show to being a podcast. I left, went down to Philly, and I kept doing the show, but I was sending the files to my old radio station. Guess what happened to them? November of 2018, they closed their doors. And all of a sudden, my show of course they did. And all of a sudden, my show was homeless. So I had two choices. I could find another station, which, the way things are going right now with radio stations, I said, okay, that's not really a feasible option. So let's do a podcast. Literally, everyone's got one. I've got one. My neighbor's got one. My plant has one. Everyone's got a podcast these days. And it's been a wonderful experience because I taught myself audio engineering. I bought the gear, which has been fun. And I now talk to people from across the world. I talk to people at length. There's no more radio rules. I can do what I want, when I want, talk to who I want. It's a great thing. So for me, that misstep led to a good step forward. And I have a wonderful, actually 2 jobs. I have great jobs. I have a wonderful place. I'm back with my family and my friends. And I feel better. I had to take that hard stop.
Yep.
And I had to fail to get to where I am now.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm glad that I'm not alone in that experience, because that's exactly what things are like for me. You have to fail and make those risks.
Because failing is what teaches you things. Succeeding, all it teaches you is that you could do that thing. That's it.
Right.
Failing teaches you a whole ton of things. There's so many lessons in failure.
And succeeding is awesome. I mean, I have nothing against it. But you need both in your life.
Exactly. Yeah, you do. You need the downward spirals to go back up the slope. And I think it's good that you have come out of these experiences, that you've come to a place where you want to be. Like it's not just about the paycheck; it's about doing something that you want to do. You're doing music. You have your own business. You're studying martial arts. You're doing all these things that make you, and that's a great thing.
Thank you. Yeah, it really is awesome. And that's the thing. The journey is still going, right?
Exactly.
We've got new experiences, new things new risks that I'm taking, and new challenges. I mean, gosh, this whole pandemic thing it's and it's good that I have this music that I can listen to, like saying, hey, you got this. It's definitely been a wild ride these few weeks. But that's the thing, though. It's about music, is that it can just keep coming and helping you out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What do you want to do after this thing does settle? Once the dust settles and things start to return to some level of normalcy, what's next for you? What's your next big project?
Ooh, that's a great question. I mean, I definitely want to get out back performing for weddings again. I really love doing that, and it pays well, which is great. But the thing is, it has been nice doing a lot of these things that, like you and I are doing, this interviews and live streaming has been really good too. And so I'm kind of hoping that there's going to be a little bit still of opportunities for me to share my music from home, because being a mom and stuff, I'm already a little bit of a homebody. And I was, already trying to figure out more ways to be able to do things without doing a lot of shows. So it's interesting that then this pandemic happens. So obviously I do want to be doing some, not locked up while people are getting sick. That's not what I want. But I'm hoping that there will be, now that we've all had experienced some of the benefits of it, like hopefully be able to keep doing things from online. But yeah, I want to keep recording music videos. So I have, these 2, the one that's, It's My Thing, and then the one that's coming out for Sweet Baby on Mother's Day. And now I want to get out there. I want to get back into the studio, finish recording, because I had set to release a song every 3 months this year, and then next year put them into an album. So I just want to keep going recording these music videos and sharing them, and yes, getting my butt out to a live show. like I said, I was just starting, like, okay, I'm ready for this, and then, oh, by the way, it's canceled. Like, Okay, maybe I need to get back into my shell. It's so funny. Okay, the egg's not hatching yet. Sorry. Put the eggshell pieces back together. So yeah, I have a lot to look forward to this year. So yeah, I'm excited because I just found out that Virginia might start to reopen next weekend.
Mass is looking for the 18th, and it's hopeful. It's hopeful. You know, they just let golf reopen, so hey, that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, of course. In Boston, Massachusetts, they would do that.
They would. Hey, you know, win's a win. You take them where you can get them.
Yeah, I mean, and Virginia's just been kind of so controversial because we have the longest stay-at-home order of every state. So,
yay.
But I'm glad that they're thinking about beginning the reopening phase on the 15th.
Yeah. Yes. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Stephanie, this has been so much fun talking to you. I definitely look forward to the next time we can do this, when you have the album, when you have shows and more music videos. But in the meantime, where do folks go to learn more about you and to check your music?
Okay, go to StephanieMathias.com. I do have an album out. It's an EP that was out since 2017. It also relates to overcoming fear and overcoming things. So really hope that you guys can check it out. It's called Fragile. And Sweet Baby is on that EP too. And so if you head to StephanieMathias.com, you will be able to see the music videos right away. Really excited to share that with you. Also find me on social media. I love Facebook and Instagram, Stephanie Mathias Music for both. And I'm on there all the time. So if people head out there, send me a comment, tell me you found me on the show, I will write back and say, yay, I'm so excited. Like total extrovert. I really want to connect with everyone. So yeah, come find me.
Hi, this is singer Kate Eppers, and you're listening to Citywide Blackout.
All right, folks, that brings this episode to a close. I've got 3 songs from Stephanie Mathias: Fragile,
It's My Thing,
and ending with Sweet Baby. Follow the show on Citywide Blackout on Facebook, Citywide Max on Twitter and Instagram, and check out citywideblackout.blogspot.com. And you can catch the show on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and every Saturday at 10 p.m. on Boston Free Radio. As always, keep those ears open.
It's delicate, fragile as a flower, and I don't know if I can keep it. But every time I feel I've lost all power, that's when you kiss me so sweetly, and I begin to believe in love again. I feel so nervous just to say it, but you've got my hopes up and praying you'll catch me by surprise. I didn't know I could feel this way anymore, and you'll lose me in your eyes. I know it's love, and with you I feel it more than ever before. but you're so strong and your light leads me on. You're the one I can't believe in, and I begin to believe in love again. I began to believe in love again. I began to believe in love again. I began to believe in love. It's true, there are 1,000 ways to lie, but I see through you. You expected me to fail this time. I have gotten up from harder things than this, so watch me show you how I light it up. I'll take a step, got a lot to prove. I'll make a move and I'm not gonna lose. And I know that I've made my mistakes, but you know me, I still get my way. 'Cause it's my thing, hard to believe. So take it or leave it, I'll pick up the pieces. I'm not gonna let anyone stop me now. I'm gonna bring the house down. Follow me through the sun-tamed world of tears. You see through me, you can tell that I am happier here. I come on as subtle as a hurricane. I strike like lightning as I tear it up. I know it's hard, got a lot to learn, so I strike a match and I watch it all burn. And I know that I've made my mistakes, but you know me, I still get my way. 'Cause it's my thing, hard to believe. So take it or leave it, I'll pick up the pieces. I'm not gonna let anyone stop me now. I'm gonna bring the house down. It's my thing. do